Hello and welcome to episode 51 of the Youth Intake Challenge with Dulwich Hamlet. This episode we've got the mid-season update and a bit of a preview of the youth intake and a little bit on facilities and progress as we move forward, so stick around, it should be good fun. First up today then we'll have a quick just little peek at where we've been since we started. I think we started way down here when we first kind of started up into the leagues. 21st in National League, we've managed to creep our way all the way up the leagues. Mainly positive progress along the way, but we've kind of petered out towards the end here. You can see us levelling up at the top of the graph now. Hopefully that doesn't mean we've reached our peak. I think we've got another level to go yet, but it's still steady progress, but it's not as rapid a rise as we have done before. So I think we're going to take a little bit more consolidation to make that final leap into the Premier League. But what this does show is we are making really good progress and in the right way. In terms of facilities, great training facilities, good youth facilities, which is something I need to kind of get over the line and get that improved a little bit. Exceptional academy coaching and exceptional youth recruitment. So we've got all the foundations in there in terms of training and everything going in the right direction. Although we're a little bit low on this stadium, perhaps could do with generating a little bit more funding. Good news is we are going to get a senior affiliate and improve the training facilities one more time. So that pending is because they've not got back to me with a decision yet on when they're going to do it, if they're going to do it. But I have made an application to get improved training facilities to take us up to the next level. The senior affiliate has been approved. It's failed multiple times because they can't find someone suitable, but we'll give it another go. In terms of the club vision, on track for avoiding relegation from the Championship, which we'll have a look at in a minute. Fairly competitive in the Carabao Cup. I don't know about competitive because we were nowhere near the final, etc. And we've now got a draw in the FA Cup, so that's where we are in terms of that. In terms of the league itself, we're not doing too bad. We're mid-table. Again, we're 13 points off the playoffs, which I think is probably a stretch too far again this season. We've stuck with a more attacking formation, having an advanced midfielder rather than a deep line playmaker or an anchor. That's kind of cost us a few losses along the way. We've had some good results where we've beat teams up near the top, but then consequently we've had some where we've lost near the bottom. As you can see as well, two clubs have been deducted 12 points, so Birmingham and Bolton down in the relegation zone, which also gives us a little bit of breathing room. But certainly I think we'll be looking to try and hit that kind of 50 points mark again if we can. We're past halfway through the season, so it's looking promising. But I just think we might be just slightly too far behind that kind of 5th, 6th position. But we will give it a good go in the second half of the season. In terms of the results, I mean, there's the schedule there. Opening day of the season, we started off drawing quite a lot of games in the Championship. It took us a long time to get our first Championship victory. But when we did, mighty me did it come. Mandanda, we switched into the advance role. And he got a hat-trick and a 5-1 win at home to Sunderland. Before that, we got some credible draws against Charlton, Swansea and Stoke. Beat by Brighton and Millwall, who are up the top end of the table, so there's no shame in that. You can see there we squeaked in a little penalty victory against West Ham in the Carabao Cup, which was magnificent, after creeping past MK Dons on penalties as well. The shame is we didn't manage to take it to penalties again on a third time against Middlesbrough, but 1-0 defeat to them put us out of the competition, which again is not too much shame in that. Moving through September, we only picked up a couple points in the Championship following that victory against Sunderland. Again, draws against Bolton and Coventry, but losses to Barnsley. Through October, again, 2 wins, 2 draws and a loss, which I think is all right. Again, beating West Brom and Huddersfield, great. Burnley and Luton, 2 of the bigger teams in the division. Plymouth, probably the only one that you probably would say is a bit of a blot on the reputation. November again, really slow start. Got beat by Southampton, one of the big clubs in the division. A draw against Reading, and we somehow managed to beat Leicester 4-2. And that was such a bizarre game because we went 2-0 down in that. And yet we managed to come back and score 4 goals late in the game to win it. So that's probably been my surprise result of the season so far. Getting that home win against Leicester, coming from 2-0 down. Beat Sheffield Wednesday as well. Looked like we were really turning the corner in terms of form. However, we came up against 2 big teams in Leeds and Blackburn. We were unable to score any goals. We fell to 2 consecutive defeats. But before this, we picked up a 2-0 win at home to Birmingham, who were floundering down the bottom with their points deduction. So that's put us in a good position as we approach halfway through the season. So all in all, it's not looking too bad in terms of the squad itself. A fairly settled squad, about 26, 27 I think we've got in there at the minute. We've had a few injuries along the way. You can see there England Fredericks is wanted. I'm going to try and move him on for 1.4 million because Felix Ibrahim has become the first choice goalkeeper now, and we've got Caden Case with higher potential in the bottom. So I think now is a good time to move England Fredericks on. He is a good squad player to have, but I think he's only going to decline from now on. We can remove £14,000 per week off the wage bill. He's made no appearances, and maybe recoup some funding from that as well. So that's one move we're looking to do. The other one is Kyle Peterson. Again, he's not playing many games for us now. He's been overtaken by a number of players in the squad like John O'Carr, Paul Sodge, Eric Lynch. So he's not going to get the game time he wants. Let's try and move him on. £21,000 per week. If we can get anywhere near 6.25 million, I'll be laughing all the way to the bank and reinvesting it elsewhere. I don't think we'll get anywhere near that, but we'll see what we can do. In terms of the rest of the players, fairly settled squad. Quick look at some of the bigger players in the squad. So Felix Ibrahim, probably worth looking at. Stats wise, he's our new #1 goalkeeper. We don't use him as a sweeper keeper, but we might do in the future. We use him as a flat defensive goalkeeper, but again, his stats are really good. I mean, we might take advantage of the sweeper keeper with his tendency to rush out, but won't use his weaker foot. Fairly consistent performer. Only kept 2 clean sheets so far, but at 21 I think there's a lot to come from him. Valued at 6 to 6.5 million. And again, in terms of his development and progress, flatlined for the season so far, but in terms of his all-time development, major. Again, decision making, one of the big ones, it's improved massively. His skills as a goalkeeper have come up massively across all fields just about, but I think only being young, I think we've just got to give him the time now to get in first team and progress a little bit further. So he's been a real positive this season. First full season as being the #1, and I think he'll be there for a number of years to come. So that's Felix Ibrahim. Tony Dunk, he's probably the one that's been a little bit disappointing this season, so we'll have a look at him. He'd been so much promise. He just ticked over 20 goals last season, but now he's made 20 appearances and only got 3 goals, which is quite surprising when you take into account we're playing an advanced midfielder behind him rather than an anchor, which has left a big space. I don't know whether that's affected it, but he's not firing on all cylinders this season. I would have thought he would have kicked on a little bit by this stage, but it's been a little bit of a disappointment. Maybe that'll turn around as we move on a little bit. But I'm expecting to see a big decline in his progress, and I'm not quite sure what the catalyst for that is. Maybe it is the formation change. I've certainly got to look to address it because he's our #1 striker by a long way. So that's the other thing really keeping an eye on. And again, let me know in the comment section if you've experienced anything like this before. Does it just happen with some players? I just don't understand. He's still got a little bit of potential to go. We need to wring that out of him. So that's 2, and then Jody Mandanda, again, it's worth looking at him because I was just briefly looking a minute ago. There's a club wants him. He's got a 16 to 22 million guide price. Is it the time to maybe take a gamble and let him go for a huge fee to reinvest that in some facilities to maybe get us over the line? Because I think we've got a number of good midfielders coming in behind him. Obviously not to the same standard. However, do we take a dip now, depending on what comes in through the next youth intake? Because I think we've got quite a good squad in terms of midfielders. What's the best way to do it? Let's see if we filter out all of the midfielders, take off the left and rights. I mean, if Mandanda went, we've still got Spence, Sodge, Carr, Lynch and Tahiri. Ignore Peterson because I'm going to try and move him on. So we've still got a good 5 midfielders in there rotationally. And I think if we took in a couple of the under-20 players coming as well, Harris is just about first team ready, as is Jordan Camberton, Tom Houghton and OVA. I mean, I think, again, let me know in the comment section. I think it's possibly worth a gamble to let him go when he's at his peak, just so we can reinvest it into the squad. Certainly something I'll be looking to do. If a bid comes in and I can tempt them up a little bit higher, I think that's something we might do in the second half of the season. The other thing we're going to look at is development centre. We've got 5 players on the cusp of first team now as well. And again, of them, we've got a couple midfielders in there, and Tom Houghton over here, and we've got another goalkeeper coming through, a winger and a striker. So everything's looking good at the minute. I think the schedule's not looking too bad for the second half of the season. We've obviously got the big teams to come again for a second time. MK Dons in the third round of the FA Cup. But when we revisit us again later, we'll be down about kind of Stoke Charlton time, and we'll have a good feeling for whether we've made it closer to the playoffs, whether we've let a big player go or not, or what we're going to do. The only other thing to look at really is the youth intake preview. And of all the youth intakes we've had in recent years, this is the one I'm probably most excited about because the fullback is our top kind of priority. Now I'm hoping it's a left back. There's one of each in there. I'm not 100% sure, but I feel that when we've reviewed the squad over the last couple of seasons, the piece of the puzzle we're missing is a left back. And if we can get one in here to replace Brathwaite, we've got Coleman on the right, we've got some good young defenders coming through, we're settled for a goalkeeper, we've got an abundance of midfielders, we've got plenty of wingers. Maybe then we're just short of a striker, of which there's another one coming through. And I think that might actually put us in a position where we can get fully Championship standard and start developing the Premier League standard players to get us up that next rung of the ladder. So hopefully that served as a really good update as to where we are. I think we've got a lot of promise in the squad. I think we've definitely gone slightly better year in year. I think if we can cash in on Peterson and Ibrahim, we can maybe keep Mandanda. However, if someone comes in with a whopping great big bid for Mandanda, I think we might have to cash in on it and just take the gamble. But again, I'll have a look at what people say in the comment section before I do anything too drastic, and we'll see how we get on next episode. So hopefully you've enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. Thanks to all those who've subscribed and supported the channel, because it's been really exciting to see it grow. I'll try and get another episode out fairly quick after this one, because the second half of the season is always far more exciting than the first half, especially when you get the intake preview and you want to see what comes next. So until next time, enjoy yourselves, enjoy your saves, enjoy your weekend, and let's hope England get a good result tonight. Take care.